Good afternoon, students. So today I am going to deal with the chapter that is called as coordination compounds or complex compounds, which come under inorganic chemistry branch. Okay, and from this chapter in competitive exams you will get nearly 2 to 3 questions. Okay, so when I start the question, in that only I will explain the concept, and related to that you can solve more number of questions. Okay, so this first question about what concept he is asking, let's see. A group of atoms can function as a ligand only when, means whenever the different atoms combine and form a molecule, they can act as a ligand, but under what condition he is asking. First one, it is a small molecule, it has a unshared electron, it is a negatively charged ion, it is a positively charged ion. And we know that in coordination compounds, whatever the elements or molecules we are writing in the bracket and in the coordination sphere, it is called as a ligand. And ligand should be of two types. One is either negatively charged and other with the lone pair of electrons. Okay, so hence the positively charged ion and a small molecule will be removed. Now the doubt is between either negatively charged or the unshared electron. I told you negatively charged also called as a ligand, but it will be having only one ion, one atom. It is, for example, Cl minus, Br minus, and sometimes 2 or 3 atoms will be there. That is SCl minus, NO2, like that. But maximum unshared electron, that is a lone pair of electron who donates to the transition metal ions, that is acting as a ligand, because the transition metal ions are having empty orbitals. In that, these ligands will donate the lone pair of electrons. Hence, for this question, option 2 is correct, that is unshared electrons. Next one, the number of neutral molecules or negative groups attached to the central metal atom in a complex ion is called as. What is the meaning of this question? In our coordination sphere, if the neutral molecules or negative groups are attached, what that indicates? Atomic number, effective atomic number, coordination number, and primary valency. So briefly I will tell about all the 4 options, then you can understand. Here if I write any compound like K4, FeCN6, okay, in this part is coordination sphere, the outside part is ion or ionization sphere. Whatever we write in the bracket, it is called as a ligand. Okay, and when you draw this structure, that time Fe will be at the center, and these Cn ion ligands will be surrounded by the iron. Okay, and it is indicated by arrow mark. And whatever the potassium 4 ions are there, they are indicated by dotted line, that is 4K. Okay, so here according to Werner's theory, dotted line are called as a primary valency, thick line is called as a secondary valency, and when we are representing in the form of arrow mark, it indicates the coordination number. Okay, because atomic number is related to the central metal atom, and effective atomic number is related to whole compound, it is Z minus X plus Y. Coordination number is the correct option, and last one, primary valency, it is related to potassium or dotted line. Hence, primary valency dotted line outside the sphere, and secondary valency thick line coordination number with respect to ligands. That is the meaning of this question. Now we move to next question. The oxidation number of chromium in sodium tetrafluoroxochromate complex is. So he is asking one compound he has given. In that you have to identify the oxidation number of the compound, that is a chromium atom. So first you should know how to write the formula of this compound. Then easily you can identify the answer. Okay. One second. Now we move to the next question. Their options are not there. A solution of potassium ferrocyanide would contains dash ions. So there are again many questions for oxidation state. Don't worry about that. Now this concept is related to ionization isomers. You know that there are four types of isomerism: ionization isomerism, coordination isomerism, linkage isomerism, hydrate isomerism, optical isomerism, etc. In that, when you move towards ionization isomer, the ions or the atoms which are present outside the coordination sphere, they undergo dissociation. So what is the reaction, how it will dissociate, how many ions are there? Let's see here. So here the formula of potassium ferrocyanide, you should know that the formula of potassium ferrocyanide is K4FeCN6. Okay, potassium ferrocyanide or potassium hexacyanidofferrate. This is the compound. And when you dissociate this, you get how many ions? K is there, 4 atoms, 4K plus, and this becomes the anionic complex, that is FeCN6, 4 minus. So like this, if you see, you will think that there are only 2 ions, but it is not a correct, because this is only 1 ion, because only this complex is 1. But here K plus are 4 ions, therefore 4 plus 1 is equal to 5 ions. D is the correct answer. Whenever you take this compound and dissociate, we get the 5 ions. Like this, if you take maximum compounds and think of neutral ligands, negative ions and ionization sphere, easily you can find out this concept. Okay. Next question. EDTA 4 minus is a. So all of you know that EDTA, it is the long form of that is ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. And when you see that EDTA, which type of ligand he is asking? Monodentate, bidentate, quadridentate or hexadentate. So what do you mean by dentate? The capacity of the ligand which donates one lone pair of electrons to the central metal ion. If it donates one pair, it is mono or unidentate, 2 means bidentate, 3 means tridentate, so on. Here EDTA example they have given. So which type of this one means? You can understand. Ethylene diamine means what? We are having 2 amine groups. Tetraacetate means 4 ions of CS3CO minus, where O is the donor, here N is the donor. 2 plus 4 is equal to 6 donor atoms are present, hence it contains hexadentate ligand. That is EDTA example for the 4th option, hexadentate. Next question. Here he has given 2 compounds, you can see CONS35, whatever the number is there, it is a below. NS35BrSO4 and CONS35SO4Br. So you should know to write the names also. Pentaamine bromido cobalt sulfate and pentaamine sulfate cobalt bromide. These are the 2 compounds. You should identify which type of isomerism it is. Now I will tell all the isomerism briefly. Based on that you can identify. Linkage isomerism means if the complex compound contains the 2 donor atoms and if we shuffle, one of the atom will donate the electrons. That is nothing but called as a linkage isomerism. Geometrical isomerism means what? Which depends upon the shape. That is cis and trans isomerism, where the atoms or molecules position has been changed. Ionization means whenever you take a complex, they will dissociate into ions. And optical isomerism means they should show the mirror images. Like this, we are having the 4 isomers. When you see this and this compound here, what happened? Outside ion is SO4, here outside ion is Br, and inside is SO4, inside is Br. If you see closely, there is a change in the ion position, Hence, it goes for the third option, that is ionization isomer. Okay, if it was a linkage, there will be two donor atoms, and if it was geometrical, there will be having a similar number of the atoms. Okay, next question. Which would exhibit ionization isomerism? Again, the same concept regarding ionization isomerism as already discussed that. So you can see all the four examples and you can identify. First one is CrNs36Cl3, CONs35BrSO4, and CrEn twice Cl2 and CrEn thrice Cl3. If you see all the compounds, here what happens? Says here small mistake, this bracket should come outside. Okay, I will tell you. This bracket will come outside here. This is not the exact bracket. When you see all the atoms, it is having only coordination sphere. It is having coordination sphere. It is also in coordination sphere. But here one ion is outside. Whenever you see one ion outside, that is nothing but called as a ionization isomer. And when you break this, you get two things. One is the cation ionic complex CrNs36 and 3Cl minus ions. Here you are getting 4 ions. Hence, it is called as a ionization isomer. Here, this compound you cannot break it. This compound you cannot dissociate. This compound you cannot dissociate it. So the answer for this question is first one, that is chromium compound. Next one. Here again he has given some compound TrH2O6 3+ is a paramagnetic in nature due to. So he is coming to the concept that is called as paramagnetic, diamagnetic and ferromagnetic. As you know from the d block element chapter, whenever the central metal ion contains unpaired electrons, it is paramagnetic. If it contains the paired electrons, it is diamagnetic. And to find out that, we are having the Bohr magneton or magnetic moment with the formula. So first what we should do, identify the name of the compound, dissociate it, find the charge, find the number of unpaired electrons, then you can calculate Bohr magneton if it is required. Okay. Now we know that titanium is having the atomic number 22. And what is the name of this compound? Hexa-aqua titanium 3 ion. Okay. So when you take the titanium central metal ion and find the oxidation state, its oxidation state is Ti3+. And Ti atomic number is 22. So we end with 3v2, 4s2. This is the electronic configuration of titanium. And when you write the configuration of titanium 3+, 3 electrons are removed. And when you remove 3 electrons, 2 electrons from d orbital, 1 electron from s orbital, we are left with only 1 s electron. Therefore, the answer is 1 unpaired electron. Okay, like that, depending upon the oxidation state, first remove the d orbitals, then go for the s orbitals. How many electrons will be there? That will be the unpaired. For example, if it was Ti4+, all electrons are removed, no unpaired electrons, hence it is diamagnetic. Like that, you should go for this concept. Okay. Next one. Among the following ions, which one has the highest paramagnetism? Again, the same concept. I have taken 2 to 3 examples. Go for the atom, ion, atomic number, then find out the unpaired electrons. If it's possible, go for the Bohr magneton, then you can understand easily what will be the magnetic power. The highest paramagnetism depends on what? Number of unpaired electrons. So you have to find the oxidation state of all these compounds. X plus 0 is equal to plus 3, means Cr3+. Okay. And here x plus 6, x plus 0 is equal to plus 2. It is taken as Fe2+. And here Cu plus 0 is equal to plus 2. It is taken as Cu2+. And here Zn 0 and here is equal to plus 2. So here you have to write all the ions. And you should know the atomic number first. Chromium atomic number is 24. Iron atomic number is 26. Copper atomic number is 29. Zinc atomic number is 30. By knowing this atomic number, just remove these electrons from the electronic configuration. So chromium, what is the configuration? 3d5 4s1. Okay, and Fe is 3d6 4s2, and copper is 3d10 4s1, and zinc is 3d10 4s2. You should write the electronic configuration, then remove the electrons. Cr3 plus means 1 electron from here and 2 electron from here. We left with 3d3, 3 unpaired electrons. Fe2 plus means what? Here remove 2 electrons, here only 2 electrons. It is left with the 6 3d electrons. In that, one orbital will be paired and it will be having the configuration 3d4. So iron, I will write here only 3d4 for iron, 3d3 for chromium. Now copper is having 29. Cu2 plus means remove 1 electron from S, 1 electron from d orbitals. It left as 3d9. And when you write the orbitals different, 3d9 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Means only it is having one unpaired electron, and Zn2 plus, it is completely filled. If you remove the 2 electrons, D will be having all the 10 electrons. Therefore, the conclusion is it is having 0 electrons, it is having 1 unpaired electron, it is having 4 unpaired electrons, it is having 3 unpaired electrons. If you compare all the electrons, he is asking highest paramagnetism, which is having the more unpaired electron, that will be the answer. Therefore, the answer for this question is B, that is iron compound. Okay. Now, concept is made than the questions. If you understand that, you can solve any type of problem. The compound which does not show paramagnetism. Again, the question is on magnetic property only. Now he is not asking higher or lower. Whatever the compounds are there, in that which will not show the paramagnetism. Again, go for the concept. Find the charges of this one. You can understand easily. So start from the bottom. NO2 will be having a lone pair of electrons. NO will be having lone pair of electrons. Give it. So they are not their paramagnetism. Now the confusion is between these two. Which one will show, which one will not show. Okay. So let's again do that question. CuNS3,4Cl2 means the copper charge is Cu2 plus, and AgNS3 twice Cl means Ag plus, that is 108. Its concentration will be there, and Ag will be present in D block elements as well as below the this one, that is called as a gold. Okay. Based on that one, when you find the unpaired electrons, already we know that Bb9 means it is having one unpaired electron, Ag plus is having 0 unpaired electron. Therefore, the option B will not show the paramagnetism character. Okay. Next question. The number of geometrical isomers for, he has given one compound. You have to find the number of geometrical isomers for that. And we know that geometrical isomerism is also called as a cis-trans isomerism. So just draw the structure of that. Based on that, you can identify how many isomers will be there. So if I go for the structure, TT, here NH3, here NH3 I will write, here Cl, and here one Cl. Okay. If the atoms are present in opposite side, it is trans isomerism. If they are present in the same side, it is cis isomerism. So I can draw another one diagram. PT, NH3, and NH3 here, and here Cl, here Cl. Sorry, it is become aromatic. So here Cl are present on the same side, NS3 same side, Cl opposite side, NS3 opposite side. It is a trans, it is cis. So only it can show two geometrical isomers. Hence the option A is correct. Okay. Next question. The pair of complex compounds. He has given two compounds. You should tell the example for which isomers. Again, the concept is same, but different type of questions they will be asking. So easily you can identify. If you consider this and this, what happens is the compound contains water. Here the compound contains water. Whenever there is a change in the position of water, then they are called as a hydrate isomers. So by closing the eyes, you can see the answer here. Linkage. No two donor terms are there. Ionization. No ion present here. Coordination isomerism means two different boxes. Hydrate isomerism because of water. Hence the option D is correct for this question. Next question. What is the magnetic moment of K3Fe6? Potassium hexafluoridoferrate. This is the compound here. You should find the magnetic moment of that. In D block elements, we will be perfect about the magnetic moment. Here, one example we can try. If you take this compound and dissociate, you get 3K plus and Fe, F6, 3 minus ion. And when you see the anionic complex, the charge of iron is Fe3 plus. So you have to find the number of unpaired electrons, then put in the formula, you can calculate the answer for that. If you go for this one, Fe3 plus, atomic number of iron is 26, therefore 3d6 4s2, and Fe3 plus means 3 electrons are removed. So if you take 2 from here, 1 from here, it is left with the 3d5. So if you draw 3d5 orbital picture, you can identify how many unpaired electrons are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all are unpaired only. Therefore, I can write the unpaired electrons as n is equal to 5. Okay, and take this and we go for the Bohr magnetic moment formula. Mu is equal to root of n into n plus 2. Substitute the value of n in that equation. Whatever the calculation you do, that will be your answer. Bm means Bohr magneton. Okay. Now n is 5. Therefore, mu is equal to root of 5 into 5 plus 2. Therefore, mu is equal to root of 5 into 7. Therefore, mu is equal to root of 35. And you can remember the values of root also up to 5 electrons. So, root of 35, if you calculate, it will come nearby 5.916. Okay? And when you see all the options, your answer, first option, 5.91 pm will be the correct answer. Okay? So again I will tell you, to find the magnetic moment, dissociate, find the charge of central metal ion, see the configuration, write number of unpaired electron value, substitute in the formula, you will get the Bohr magnetic moment. Okay? Next question. Cupramonium ion. He has given the ion is. He is asking about the shape. And you should know that depending upon the hybridization or depending upon the number of ligands, we can identify the different structure. So directly he has given the CuNS342 plus. You can draw it easily. Cu NH3, NH3, and here NH3, and here NH3. If you draw this diagram, you can make the complex and you can write the charge 2 plus. Okay? And if you see all the 4 options, start from the bottom, octahedral means it should be D2sp3 hybridization or 6 ligands. Triangular bipyramidal, it will not come in the coordination compound. Now the doubt is between square planar and tetrahedral. because 4 ligands are present. But you should know that there are no d electrons in this complex because the charge is Cu2 plus. Hence, you have to go for the option square planar. This is the structure of that, and the answer is B. Next question. Was it?